parents should teach these skills when kids are younger, but as they age, let them step out of it and let them manage the fight. So you can kind of listen to see if they need help, but don't go running to help them. You really want them to have their own relationship where they can trust one another, they can work together, and that will carry them throughout their life. I mean, this is one of the longest relationships that individuals will ever have across their lifespan.
Welcome to the Company of Dads podcast. After 120 plus episodes, we're doing something different. I'm still your host, Paul Sullivan, and we're still focused on lead dads, working moms, and how small changes at home or work can have a big impact on their lives. What's new is each episode now promises to deliver actionable advice on some area of concern at home or at work. Short, direct, again, actionable. 5 questions, 5 answers. This week, our guest is Corinna Jenkins Tucker. She's an expert in sibling rivalry and aggression. You know, why your kids annoy, tease, and sometimes fight each other. She's the director of the Sibling Aggression and Abuse Research Center and Advocacy Initiative at the University of New Hampshire. That's a mouthful that would cause siblings to wrestle. She's also a professor emerita in the university's Department of Human Development and Family Studies. Welcome, Corinna, to the Company of Dads podcast.
Thank you, Paul. Thanks for having me. I'm really happy to be here.
You know, I had some, spent a little time at University of Chicago. I know a little bit about advanced economics, academics. So I know that we need to start with a definition. So question 1 is, what is sibling rivalry? What is sibling rivalry from the perspective of someone like you, an expert in this?
Well, each family has limited resources, and siblings are natural competitors for those resources. And those resources could be parents' attention, parents' love, financial resources of the family. So they will, you know, try to seek out ways to gain what they need from their parents or from their families. So sometimes siblings will develop different qualities in order to gain unique access to whatever resource they're searching for. So you might have one child who's very good in sports. You may have another child who's very good in music, or you could have 2 children that play the same sport but maybe play different positions in order to gain sort of that unique attention, unique time with a parent. So rivalry can be fueled by making comparisons, of your children, saying one's better than the other, or labeling them. These unique labels sometimes can drive children to make unique successes, and it can be a healthy thing. It doesn't always have to be a negative thing, but it also can lead to aggressive behavior, resentment, bitterness, and jealousy.
So I have 3 kids. You have 3 kids. Is it fair to say that you, as an expert on sibling rivalry, were able to ensure that your children never fought amongst themselves?
No,
No,
I,
professor. Come on, professor.
I actually see conflict as an opportunity to, when children are young, to teach them important social and emotional skills.
All
So
right.
I would welcome this as a teaching opportunity for them.
Wow. Spoken like a professor mom, not just a regular mom. All right. Question 2, professor. Are sibling behaviors like just like the pushing, the annoying, like you're at the dinner table, you're just picking on each other, just annoying behaviors? Is that just harmless rivalry, or when does rivalry go too far and become something that is, I mean, physically detrimental is sort of more obvious, but psychologically detrimental? When does it go too far?
It goes too far when, so when does it cross the line? It goes too far when there's too much of it, or there's an imbalance between the kids, and it's really having an impact on one or both children, and on their mental health, on their physical health. It's gone too far, and um, so kids are feeling frustrated, they're feeling angry, they may be not sure how to manage it. So it's, they might take out their frustration and anger in aggressive ways. And the aggression can come through psychologically making threats, or as you mentioned, it also could be physical with pushing or kicking or punching.
All right, fair enough. Good to find that. All right. Question, three, siblings, they fight a lot. And as a parent, I speak personally, I've got three daughters, sometimes you sort of let it run. Sometimes it becomes too much and you start to feel like a referee, but you want to be fair. Like if there's one word that we hear as parents, it's like, that's not fair. So you want to be fair as you're refereeing this. You don't want the fighting. What should parents do? Should they ignore the fighting and the squabbling, or should they step in and, help kids try to resolve this?
Look, siblings are going to fight. They share space. They spend
I'm
a
an only
lot of
child. I'm an only child. So this is literally a news alert until I had three kids. But all right, keep going,
they're
Professor.
gonna fight. They share space, they share parents. There's lots of opportunities. There's also this emotional intensity that comes with being a sibling where you just have the best time ever with your brother or sister, or you have never felt anger like that ever in your life before. When kids are young, uh, rather than parents stepping in or ignoring, stepping in and maybe defending the younger sibling or just settling it, or ignoring it. When kids are younger, as I mentioned earlier, this really is a teaching opportunity to teach social and emotional skills, teaching them how to manage conflict and resolve conflict. And these are skills which has been shown that you take with you with your peers, your romantic partners, and even in the workplace. This is where you learn how to manage arguments. So parents, when kids are young, can teach them about listening, perspective taking, empathizing, figuring out what you're even fighting about. Because so many times when kids get in fights, they don't even know what they're fighting about. One kid thinks it's
Right.
one thing and it's the other. So identifying a problem, and when you identify it, you can actually spend time solving it. Parents should teach these skills when kids are younger, but as they age, let them step out of it and let them manage the fight. So you can kind of listen to see if they need help, but don't go running to help them. You really want them to have their own relationship where they can trust one another, they can work together, and that will carry them throughout their life. I mean, you want them, this is one of the longest relationships that individuals will ever have across their lifespan.
Right.
And so you want this to be a source of place where they can feel comfortable, they can trust them, feel it's a source of support, and they can work together. And especially as a parent, you want your kids to work together, especially when you get older. It's so important.
I love that. I'm so glad you didn't say like jab with the left, like hold back with the right. I'm so glad. Like I should have thought of nothing
Or
less.
pick one kid.
Oh yeah, pick your favorite. That'll work out well. Question number four, Professor. What are the best tactics? Like if like you're talking you're saying wonderful things here, but kind of general. Like if you're a parent, you're in the moment, you can imagine what you want to do, but you're not quite sure how you're going to get to that. So, what are the best tactics that a parent can use to manage and diffuse this conflict?
So you want to create what we call constructive conflict, where there is this compromise, this listening, working together.
Oh, I
And
thought you were going to tell me that they were like setting the table and doing the dishes while fighting. That would be constructive to me. That's not what you're talking about.
No, no.
Oh, okay.
So as a parent, again, you don't want to step in and settle it, because they're in that when you step in and settle something, you are not giving them an opportunity to learn. You're not giving them an opportunity to work together, to build their relationship together. You want your children to have an independent relationship. And so you, as a parent, want to step back and act as a mediator, take that neutral third party role. And with young children, I keep mentioning this word coaching. Young children may have difficulty thinking in logical ways, coming up with solutions, understanding how to cooperate or share. And so, as a neutral third party, you can say, you two work it out. What do you think, little Sally? Or what do you think, Joey? What do you think would, solve this problem that we've identified? If they're younger, they might need help. So you can make suggestions, but the key here is that the siblings decide. They decide how to settle it and what should be done. As a parent, you praise them when they get along and they do this. You
And when,
really want them to
and
have
when
their
they don't get
own
along and they
relationship.
don't do this, you yell and scream and say, no
So,
dessert for you.
so again, a good tip is to model good conflict management and resolution skills yourself, good social emotional skills. If you're calm, take a breath, they will be too.
All right, I love it. All right, question number 5, as we always say, 5 questions, 5 answers. You've been in this game for a long time, both as a mom of 3 and as a professor, as an academic. What do you think is the most important part of your research that our listeners could take something away from today?
The sibling relationship is often overlooked as an important family relationship. A lot of times there's a focus on the parent child, but we know that this relationship is important for mental and physical well being across the lifespan, and that not all aggressive behavior is rivalry. Sometimes it crosses a line, and parents need to step in and mediate this.
Fantastic. Corinna Jenkins Tucker, Professor Emeritus, Emerita at the Department of Human Development and Family Studies at the University of New Hampshire. Thank you again, Corinna, for being our guest today on the Company of Dads podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Company of Dads podcast. I also want to thank the people who make this podcast and everything else that we do at the Company of Dads possible. Helder Mira, who is our audio producer, Lindsay Decker, who handles all of our social media, Terry Brennan, who's helping us with the newsletter and audience acquisition, Emily Servin, who is our web maestro, and of course, Evan Roosevelt, who is working side by side with me in many of the things that we do here at the Company of Dads. It's a great team, and we're just trying to bring you the best in fatherhood. Remember, the one-stop shop for everything is our newsletter, The Dad. Sign up at thecompanyofdads.com/thedad. Thank you again for listening.